Hello, my dear ones. Welcome to Granny's Whisper. As we always do before we begin, let me ask, where are you listening from tonight? Drop your city or your country in the comments. I love to know where my family of listeners gather from. If you are new here, thank you for tuning in. If you enjoy our stories, please like, share and subscribe. Before we dive in, I would like to thank you for visiting Granny's Whisper channel. Her father disowned her just because she ran away from an abusive marriage. My dears, tonight's story is about courage, heartbreak, and second chances. So make yourself comfortable, perhaps a soft blanket and a warm cup of tea, because this journey will linger with you long after the last word. Her name was Arya Mehta. Arya was unforgettable. She carried the grace of a dancer, tall and willow-slender, with skin the warm bronze of late summer honey. Her inky black hair fell in a straight, lustrous river down to the small of her back, catching hints of indigo whenever city lights brushed across it. Almond-shaped hazel eyes, flecked with gold, glimmered beneath lashes long enough to shadow her cheeks. Born and raised in Birmingham's leafy suburb of Moseley, Aria grew up in a narrow Victorian terrace house painted a cheerful pale blue. Window boxes overflowed with pink geraniums in summer, and the scent of cardamom tea and baked bread often drifted from the Meta kitchen into the street. Her parents, Rajiv and Meena, were pillars of the local Indian community, deeply respected and quietly proud of their traditions. From an early age, Arya moved between worlds with ease. On weekdays, she was a British professional woman, steering her little silver Toyota Yaris through bustling city traffic, tailored coat belted neatly at her waist. On weekends, she slipped gracefully into shimmering salwar kameez, helping her mother prepare saffron rice for family gatherings. Her closest friend was Georgina Clark, a tall, freckled English girl whose riot of strawberry blonde curls refused to stay pinned. Georgina's blue eyes sparkled with mischief, and her laughter often spilled like music through the cafes of Digbeth, where the two shared endless cups of cappuccino and whispered dreams about travel, love, and the kind of freedom they both craved. One brittle February evening, as rain slid down the bay windows of the Mehta home, Rajiv cleared his throat at the dinner table. Rajiv announced an important visitor. A family friend from Delhi had a son, Rohan Sharma, seeking a wife in the UK, a promising young businessman. The families have spoken. We will accept the match. This match is blessed, Rajiv said firmly. Arya's fork paused in mid-air. That same evening, she visited her friend Georgina to break the news to her. I don't even know him, she whispered later to Georgina over steaming chai at their favourite cafe near the Bullring. You should at least meet him, Georgina said gently. Maybe he'll surprise you. We'll see. 2 days after Rajiv's announcement, the Sharmas rushed the engagement forward, eager for their son to begin a new life in Britain. Within weeks, Arya found herself in Delhi beneath a sky streaked with orange and violet, draped in crimson silk threaded with real gold. 1,000 tiny mirrors on her lehenga caught the light as drums thundered and guests showered her with marigold petals. She smiled for the photographers while inside she felt the ground slide away. After the whirlwind wedding, Arya returned to Birmingham alone. Rohan remained in India to finalise his documents, while she moved into his parents' home in Handsworth Wood, a stately but ageing red-brick semi-detached house set back from a quiet, tree-lined street. The driveway was paved with old cobblestones that clicked beneath the tires of her Yaris, and ivy climbed one side of the house like a patient green serpent. The house was grander than her childhood home, but heavy with silence. A stained glass front door opened to a long hallway with a threadbare Persian runner. The air smelled faintly of sandalwood incense and cumin. Dark wooden stair rails gleamed like old mahogany. The sitting room was crowded with heavy rosewood furniture and brass elephant figurines that reflected the soft flicker of an oil lamp. From the moment she stepped inside, Arya sensed the shift. "You are the daughter of this house now," said Kamala, Rohan's mother, her thin smile never reaching her eyes. That first week blurred into endless chores. At dawn, before the milkman rattled his bottles down the street, Arya brewed masala tea strong enough to perfume the entire kitchen. She laid out parathas and spiced potatoes, then polished the brass teapot until she could see her reflection. Soon Kamala began to press. "File the spousal settlement quickly," she urged, sliding thick government forms across the oak dining table. "Why wait? The sooner you submit, the sooner my son comes home." Arya hesitated. "The solicitor says it takes months to gather everything." "Work faster," Kamala interrupted. "We need him here." She and her husband, Anil, insisted Arya pay the application fees and contribute her wages. "What is yours is Rohan's," Kamala said, folding Arya's weekly envelope of cash into her sari blouse. "A wife invests in her husband's success." Though Rohan remained in India, Kamala treated Arya as if he were already present. Every corner of the house bristled with unspoken laws. Kamala inspected each room daily, running a finger along windowsills to catch the faintest trace of dust. "Keep this place spotless," she commanded. "When my son arrives, he must find perfection." Arya's evenings vanished into scrubbing bathroom tiles until her knees ached, ironing Kamala's elaborate saris, and polishing the brass ornaments until they gleamed like captured sunlight. When she finally collapsed into bed beneath the ornate carved headboard, her muscles throbbed. Even small pleasures were quietly forbidden. If she lingered on the phone with Georgina, Kamala appeared in the doorway, arms folded. "Why waste time on friends? You are a wife now. Your husband is your companion." Soon it was understood. Factory, bus, home, no detours. The vibrant social life she once enjoyed. Late evening tea with Georgina in the jewellery quarter. Saturday browsing in the bustling rag market. Evaporated like breath on glass. Sometimes she sat at the upstairs bay window, watching drizzle shimmer beneath the street lamps while couples strolled past, their laughter floating up like a memory from another life. She thought of her carefree evenings in Moseley, where her friends' music spilled from cafe doors and the scent of fresh bread mingled with the smoke of wood-fired ovens. A soft ache pressed against her ribs, yet she clung to a fragile hope. When Rohan finally comes to the UK, she told herself, everything will be different. Maybe we'll drive my little Yaris to the Christmas market, walk by the canal, laugh together the way Georgina and I used to. That flicker of possibility, small as a candle flame, kept her moving through the silent, airless routine. Months later, when Rohan finally arrived, Arya was already worn thin. She greeted him in a tailored navy coat and ankle boots, her long hair tucked into a soft grey scarf. He thanked her for all the effort, but his cool, proprietary gaze felt less like love and more like possession. He sounded very polite at first, but then Rohan's temper soon revealed its teeth. The first slap came like a lightning crack after she joked about his accent, then a shove against the wardrobe. Arya was shocked and could not believe it. Arya confided in Georgina about what happened. Her friend begged her to tell her parents. Arya did what her friend advised, went home and told her parents. Mina listened with trembling hands but said nothing. Rajiv's reply was iron. A wife obeys, endure, and it will pass. One night Rohan struck her so viciously, her left eye swelled purple. When she showed Kamala, the older woman sneered. You probably provoked him. Learn to keep your tongue. Sleep-deprived and hopeless, Arya drifted through her days like a ghost. The factory, once her refuge, blurred into a grey hum of looms and fluorescent lights. One slate-grey November evening, she drove her Yaris through drizzle to a deserted park on the city's edge. Rain drummed on the windshield as she swallowed a handful of sleeping pills, the faint smell of wet leaves and petrol filling the car. Before darkness claimed her, she sent Georgina a trembling text. Gina, I can't do this anymore. Forgive me. Georgina, alarmed, traced the location and sped through the storm, finding her friend slumped beneath a dripping oak. Paramedics arrived just in time. Arya spent a week in hospital while doctors flushed the poison from her veins. Arya went to her parents' house after she was discharged from the hospital. Back at her parents' home in Moseley, Arya hoped for compassion, but Rajiv's voice was cold steel. You will return to your husband, he declared. A wife belongs with her husband, not in her childhood bedroom. With a heavy heart, she obeyed. When she returned to the ivy-clad house in Handsworth Wood, Kamala's embrace was stiff, her sandalwood scent hiding a blade of contempt. Good, she said. You've come to your senses. That night the mask slipped. You humiliated our family, Kamala hissed. A good wife does not involve outsiders. From now on, you will prove your devotion. She rattled off punishments, scrubbed the entire flat, including greasy cooker vents, hand wash every shirt and sari, rise before dawn to roll fresh chapatis, and quit the factory job. A working wife is shameful, Kamala declared. Rohan lounged in the doorway, arms crossed. You heard my mother. Stay home. Obey. For 2 suffocating days, Arya endured the relentless labour, knees raw from scrubbing floors, fingers blistered from scalding water. Finally, she stepped onto the tiny balcony for a breath of rain-scented air and called her father. Papa, I can't stay, she pleaded. If you leave again, Rajiv thundered, you are no longer my daughter. The line went dead, but even as the weight of disownment crashed down, a spark of fierce clarity ignited. Better to be disowned than destroyed. She grabbed her small leather satchel and stepped into the night. Arya dialed Georgina's number. I have nowhere else to go, she whispered. You have me, Georgina said. Always. Georgina's spare room, a cosy attic space scented faintly of lavender, became Arya's sanctuary. Mina phoned in secret, weeping softly, but Rajiv's silence was absolute. Despite the pain, Arya found strength in small victories. A solo walk through the frost-kissed paths of Cannon Hill Park, the first unbroken night of sleep, a quiet morning when she looked in the mirror and recognized her own eyes again. Months later, Arya filed for divorce. Because Rohan's spousal visa carried only a 2-year probation before indefinite leave to remain, The marriage breakdown meant his application could not proceed. Arya also visited the police station. She did not press charges but filed a formal statement documenting the abuse so it would remain on record. When the Home Office reviewed Rohan's status, the combination of the divorce and the documented violence was decisive. His visa was cancelled, and he was ordered to return to India. While volunteering at a women's refuge, a bright, airy space near Birmingham's canals, Arya met Dr. Imran Patel, a tall, warm-eyed British-born physician from Leicester. He too carried the quiet ache of a past marriage. Their friendship began with shared cups of tea after evening support meetings, then long conversations about books and the best curry houses in the Midlands. They explored local galleries and strolled along the canal paths where city lights rippled on the water. In the Indian community, whispers followed Arya's divorce. People said no respectable man would marry her. But Imran saw only her strength and gentle spirit. One spring afternoon, under a canopy of cherry blossoms in Victoria Square, he proposed with a simple gold band and a smile that reached his deep brown eyes. They celebrated a small, intimate wedding in Leicester. Imran's parents welcomed Arya like a beloved daughter, showering her with warmth and respect she had never known in marriage. Rajiv refused to attend, but Meena secretly sent a beautifully embroidered shawl and a handwritten letter of blessing, tears blotting the ink. For the first time, Arya felt truly cherished. In her new family, she was treated like a princess, loved, protected, and free. Today, Arya lives in Leicester with Imran, her home filled with soft light and laughter. Though scars remain, her life shines with hope. My darlings, if you are in an abusive relationship, remember Arya's journey. It is never worth your life. Seek help, speak to someone you trust, and know that freedom is not rebellion. It is survival. And if you are the friend, be the Georgina. Listen, support, and never give up. Thank you for listening to Granny Whispers. If Arya's story touched you, please subscribe and share it with someone who might need hope tonight. Until we meet again, stay kind, stay strong, and hold each other close.